request from John Putnam.
Yeah, you can put it back up. Good evening. Good evening. My name is John Putnam. I live at 1216 Northwest 25th. And that was difficult to hear. I'll spend a couple minutes to give you a little background so you'll actually understand who I am and why I'm here. And then I'll try to give you some insight into a few things. I first started my public service in 1984 in Klamath Falls and served on what was called the Infrastructure Committee. And I just came off of a 2-year program of writing the Northwest Power Plan where I represented people that were in favor of solar energy and alternative generation sources. I then moved back to Klamath Falls, got on the Infrastructure Committee, and became elected chairman of the board of the Transit District in Klamath Falls. After leaving Klamath Falls and moving to Portland, I spent 8 years on Metro's TPAC committee. I'm the past chairman of the CAT committee where I spent 8 years for TriMet. I'm the past chairman of the STN committee where I spent 6 years, which is a committee that does all the funding for TriMet's ADA, Seniors with Disability Transportation. Since leaving those committees, I have moved on and have basically, I represent people with disabilities and seniors on the City of Portland's taxi board. I've been there for 5 years. And for the last 4 years, my partner and I, Cynthia Thompson, have had the management contracts to manage the public transit systems in both Wilsonville and Canby, both SMART and CAT. And those are independent contracts managed by us as a consulting firm rather than hired as city employees, which is a little different. When we wrote the power plan, it was on page 1, and I always like to remind people of this. There's a very good statement in the first sentence, and it says, no matter what plan, no matter how inherently well written, has a great chance of being wrong. And so what you're going to be challenged with is writing a plan that not only has all the right things in it, but how do we do it? How do we make it work? I'm a person who has never taken a Lyft ride in the city of Portland in the 12 years that I've lived here. I don't know, but past, I bought general transport. I take MAX, I ride fixed route, I ride, light rail, streetcar. I actually live on Northwest 25th. Today I was in Wilsonville and I rode the west up and got the MAX down here. So I think I'm a unique kind of person. I'm your rider. I'm the guy that is out there every day. I see it all. I see everything. And truthfully, back to the gentleman that spoke about the girl that hit the tree, she can't go in and tell TriMet if she wants to that she touched a tree. Because if you touch a mirror, you're in trouble. It goes on. You can't go in and say it. I mean, I guarantee you can't do it. So that is part of what has to change in the culture. The culture has to change so that people can come forward and say, hey, I made a small error out in the parking lot. We're parking less than a foot away, and somehow, I don't know, I touched the mirror. I didn't even put a scratch on it. Well, 2 of those and you'll be in trouble. I mean, real trouble. So that's one of the small, that is very small compared to what these people are dealing with, but it is the reason why the culture has gotten where it's gotten. Why are there not gates on all the crossings? Well, I was actually chairman of the STF committee, or the CAT committee, when that debate went on, and actually it was because we wanted to make MAX an open access system. We didn't want barriers and all those kinds of things. And the argument over the ones in Beaverton went on about a year. And in retrospect, right or wrong, I don't know if they would change anything, but if they make people feel better, then maybe they should be there. But what I really came tonight to talk about, which is my main issue with you, is going to be the discussion that's already been had in CAT, which they chose to tell TriMet to go back to securement. Well, I'm the leading person that argued we should have choice in securement, and that it should be a choice whether you wanted your mobility device secured or not. And after 7 years of making that argument, I basically was so fed up with it, I just quit. And Fred called me up and he said, well, why'd you quit? Fred and I knew each other back when I represented the city of Clown Falls in the Salt Caves debate, and he was in DEQ. And I said, because, you know, for 7 years we've argued over securement, and I think I'm right, and I think choice would be a good idea. And he said to me, okay, I'll do it. Well, I honestly think it's been a good choice, a good decision. But what's happened is those that want securement now are having a difficult time with drivers and getting them to put the securement on. So we went one way, which was, I think, the best way to go. And how did we get there? I think this is interesting, how we finally got to making a decision. Jill Thorne, maybe that wasn't her name, but she's an attorney at TriMet, and she went upstairs and she came up with the best thing that I thought we ever saw, and that was she added up all the payouts for everything that happened on a bus. And she took the one big one out for the Supreme Court judge that we took over, which for some reason he seemed to get 10 times more than anybody. And secured or unsecured, it was dead even. There wasn't a dollar difference in what the payout was. Not $1. So that justified being able to say securement could be choice. So, you know, should gates be up because that's a good idea? Maybe they should be. They're harder for people with disabilities to get through. But if somebody holds one in Beaverton to make the train, you know, that's cool. You know, that's what happened today when I came out. But so those are some of the small little things that you're going to have to drill down on and get to in order to come up with a good plan. But when you come up with a good plan, then how do we do it? I mean, forever I kept saying, well, people with sight impairments would say, well, we don't know when the stops are. And I'd say, well, I'd go and I'd say, why can't we just train guys? Oh, I don't know. I said, well, nobody will go to the meeting. Nobody wants to learn how to use a microphone. I said, you bring Bill Shonley down here and pay him $10,000. I'll guarantee you every TriMet driver will show up and go to the meeting, go to the being trained on how to speak over the microphone. Well, would they ever do that? No, that's not going to happen. Why? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's my idea. I don't know. It is a cultural situation. It's like throwing mud at a wall. I mean, it might stick, but probably it's going to fall off. You know what I mean? So I don't know how you do that, Tom. I just don't know how you do it. I mean, we run 2 public transit systems. The first one is to pull out. Every day we're faced with some of the same challenges. We're not as big, so we don't have as many of those kinds of problems. But the other day, one of our buses hit a parked car backing up in the parking lot in Xerox. Well, not too good again. Best driver we got, right? I mean, you know, so, you know, I mean, you know, I would say, no, stuff happens. You know, it does happen. But how do we guard against the catastrophic? I mean, that's the one that you really, you know, that's the hardest. Catastrophic. And I think we do have to face the truth. The truth is, we're taking out a lot of people. For what? For a couple minutes. For trying to be on time. For trying to not have a supervisor, you know, kind of get on you because you're not as quick as the next guy. Or because you're talking to somebody. You can't imagine how many talk on their cell phones or talk to customers or whatever. And I think they're all good people. Look, I like most TriMet drivers. I mean, all the ones would I rather ride fixed route or rail? I'd rather ride rail. Why? I don't have to talk to a driver. Simple. Not that, you know, I mean that. I don't mean it disrespectful. You know, I mean, it's like that old adage, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know if the driver came first or the rider came first, but we've all got to work together. So I hope that you open this up. When I see a list of the people on your committee, it's the same people. It's the same people. Why? They need, like me, I moved on because I need to move on to other things in order to be, and you need to bring in other people. Other people need to get in fresh minds, fresh stuff, to look at it from new and fresh perspectives and take that and say, what can we do? Because these people on the list are going to give you back the same old stuff you got before. That's just who they are. It's what they like. It's what they know. It's like security is my issue.
What list are you talking about?
Well, a list of who's representing who on the safety committee. I mean, the same chairman of the CAC committee's been there. I'm the only other chairman it's ever had, almost. Well, how can that be good for an organization? I'm sorry, but it's a problem with the culture of the organization. It's unwilling to bring in fresh and listen to the new because that might skew the whole thing. You know, I think it is broken in a sense. Does it haul enough people? Yes, it does. What are you going to do about all the people standing up from Barber downtown commute? It's like, okay, you can talk about safety. You can talk about all that. You're going to strap the scooters down on fixed route, but what are you going to do on rail? What are you going to do on streetcar? You can't win there. Are you going to tell all those people at Barber they have to wait for a bus to have a seat to come to town because they can't stand up? Well, that's the commute. There's 70 people in every commute bus out of Barber for 45 minutes. So, I mean, those are the issues. Those are safety issues. I mean, I was on 12 going out to Barber one night. A car went over where they were doing the pavement at different levels. Basically hit the bus. What happened? Well, we bounced over in the front door of Burger King. The bus didn't even hurt the bus. I mean, so I mean, you know, you are in a fairly safe, big vehicle when you're a rider. So what we really need to fix is what are we doing to people who aren't on the bus? I think if you look at the safety problem, it isn't the riders. It isn't even, it's those around us, the people and what they do all around us. That's who we got to figure out how to fix. And I don't know if it is the education in the schools. It could be, you know, I had a situation in Lake Oswego, and I'm a pretty smart transit guy, and I almost got nailed by that train that comes up out of that gully out there in the middle of Lake Oswego and crosses the road, because there are no barriers that come down. And that train zips right up out of there, man. You know, so even I can get fooled once in a while. So I won't dwell with you any longer, but it's a tough challenge. And you're going to have to drill way down deep, way deep. And I think the review board of drivers and accidents or happenings or whatever they are, it needs to be more than just TriMet. It needs to have real solid base people come on that committee who look at different situations. I mean, right now they pull in 3 or 4 drivers and whoever's running the garage, they make the decision. Well, that may not be the best decision. It could be your friend, not your friend. You might like that, you might like that. I don't think it's based on really good knowledge. I mean, I know guys who never had a service complaint ever, who clip a mirror or touch this. They're all might have got fired almost. I think they're probably a pretty good driver if they don't have a service complaint. So is that fair that they can't go in and say they touched a mirror in fear of their job? No, that's wrong. That's where we're messed up. That's where we're messed up. So it's too much on the equipment. I think all the value is on the equipment. Oh my God, we got it all free from the feds anyway, so it makes it matter. I mean, truthfully, the feds pay 80%, so it's not even our equipment. So let's put more emphasis on the people. I think Shirley's right about, you know, what to do with the people. How do we help those? But we need to look at the whole community and start talking to them about it. I mean, I remember the first meeting I went to on the West Line before it opened, though the last meeting actually, they said, all right, we've got the police alerted, and if we catch anybody when we're out doing our test trains, and we're going to write up tickets. I said, well, let's make them all so mad nobody wants West to even come out there. You know, I mean, we weren't even that. That was TriMet's basically their theory. I'm sorry, but it was. I think that's where it breaks down. So I'll let you leave you with that. I hope that find your way, and I hope that you do better. I hope that we have a better discussion. What I was going to say about securement, one last thing. In the 7 years since I left CAT that we've had choice on securement, not one time did anyone call me up and say, what do you think, how's it going? Not once.